All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing the best landing spot for Cooper Flagg, the projected #1 overall pick this NBA draft. So we obviously know how special Cooper Flagg was in his freshman year with Duke this year. They were a Final Four team, just came up short in the moments that they needed them to Houston. But Cooper Flagg, man, this is a generational player. I think this guy has the talent to be a generational player. I wouldn't say he's the best prospect since LeBron James. Obviously, we just saw Victor Wembanyama and several other prospects, but this kid has it all. And I think he's going to be a difference maker day one for an NBA franchise to be their next cornerstone player. But these are my top 3 best destinations for Cooper Flagg, the teams that fit with him the best for this NBA draft. Now, the lottery is unpredictable. We don't know who's going to have the first overall pick, but Cooper Flagg would benefit the most out of playing with these 3 respective teams. So team number 1 is the San Antonio Spurs. Can you just imagine the San Antonio Spurs having the first overall pick, getting lucky and cashing in on Cooper Flagg and Victor Wembanyama in under 5 years? That's how crazy the NBA lottery is. But as I digress, can you imagine in San Antonio a trio of Cooper Flagg, Victor Wembanyama, and De'Aaron Fox? They would pick up steam and momentum in a loaded Western Conference and establish themselves as threats as soon as possible. And I already seen a small sample package of what De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama can do in the pick and roll game in the 4 to 5 games that they played together this year. And you add in Cooper Flagg's playmaking abilities, his mid-range scoring abilities, the fact that he's a good two-way player. Plus, they still have Stephon Castle to build off of. And they have 2 lottery picks. Thanks to the Raptors, they could possibly get their hands on Cooper Flagg. I can see the San Antonio Spurs getting lucky, but this would be the best thing for Cooper Flagg if he could land in San Antonio to play with Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle in his rookie season. Wow. Can you imagine the max contracts that they could receive one day, Cooper Flagg and Victor Wembanyama, if they played together? Man, but that would be the icing on the cake for this young man if he could get to San Antonio. Now, destination number 2, the Charlotte Hornets. Now, people might laugh about this because the Charlotte Hornets seem like they're cursed and they've never been a successful franchise. But the Hornets have been horrible, but if they get Cooper Flagg, can you imagine the players that would be playing in Charlotte? They would have LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Cooper Flagg, and Mark Williams. That does not sound bad in Charlotte at all. Plus, I think this would give LaMelo Ball finally a dynamic player that would be his dynamic duo, something that he's been looking for his first 4 to 5 seasons in the NBA. Plus, Cooper Flagg provides the size advantage, something that the Charlotte Hornets are looking for. He's a good two-way player, plays well on both ends of the court. Again, his mid-range abilities, his playmaking abilities, great defensive player. All these young players will be able to grow chemistry very quickly. And a hot take, they could possibly become what the Oklahoma City Thunder are today if they had the core of LaMelo Ball, Cooper Flagg, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams. Again, that does not sound bad at all, but they would have to do more work to the roster. But that would be the second best landing spot for Cooper Flagg this NBA draft. And this one's a wild one, but I do like their depth regardless of how bad this team was. But the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, the 76ers could get lucky here. They really could get lucky because anything could happen in the lottery picks. However, they probably won't get the first overall pick, but if they did get lucky enough, anything can happen. And the 76ers will most likely be moving off of Paul George this summer. The man waited until the 76ers were basically in the ground in terms of being a contending team out there in the Eastern Conference. He's going to pick up a microphone and say, I don't want to play anymore. I'm not going to do the podcast anymore until we are a championship contending team. Buddy, you said this when your team was 15, 16 games under 500. And with the future and the health uncertain of Joel Embiid, I truly have to say they would be lucky and blessed to get Cooper Flagg in this situation, because you would have 2 cornerstones to build off of if you're Tyrese Halliburton or Cooper Flagg for the Philadelphia 76ers. So I definitely would consider this. And if they get lucky, they would obviously have to cash in on this. But those are my top 3 Cooper Flagg landing spots for him this NBA draft. Which teams he could benefit playing for the most when he's drafted first overall in this upcoming NBA draft.